because I think one of the mistakes that I will see with beginner runners is there's often a lot of motivation and they really want to get involved. And for me, the biggest thing with anything, whether it's you're looking for performance, whether you're looking at weight loss or just staying healthy, is doing it consistently over time. I was recently interviewed on the FitMit Turo podcast with Turo Virta, and I got the chance to share my thoughts on the number one thing that keeps people running for a long time and helps them to achieve their goals. I've put a link to the full podcast episode in the description and comments of this video, so you can go and check it out, and I hope you enjoy it.
So let's jump right into topics what we wanted to cover. And first, what I wanted to talk with you about is introduction to endurance training. So what are the foundational principles of training for runners and endurance athletes?
I think the first thing that I would say is it's always important to start your training based on your previous experience. So by that, I mean, if you're an experienced runner, you're an experienced kind of athlete, whether you're a cyclist, whether you do something different, you have to just make sure that you come in at the level that's appropriate for you. Because I think one of the mistakes that I will see with beginner runners is there's often a lot of motivation and they really want to get involved. They want to run lots, and it's this cool thing. You have to just make sure that actually load is the biggest thing. So I know we briefly talked about it last time, but volume is a really big thing. So just making sure that actually you start at the bottom and kind of gradually build up. And one of the biggest things that I would say, and this is for people who are beginners or advanced, is prioritize most of your time to easy endurance training rather than lots of high intensity training. So again, that's something which I very commonly see is people do lots of high intensity training because they feel that that's the kind of thing that makes everything work, that makes them get better at their training, whatever it is that they want to do. So they'll do lots of hard efforts and often feel really kind of battered and smashed afterwards. Whereas actually we know that probably the more important thing is lots of easy endurance training where, for example, you can breathe fully as you're training, as you're running. And that's more important because it gives you a big aerobic base, and that's kind of what everything else is built on. So if you improve that, then everything else can improve as well. So you think of that as kind of the foundations of your training, and the rest are the kind of building upwards, and it's like the icing on the cake, so to speak, of how to actually improve. So yeah, start slow. Start with lower mileage, lower kilometers, and with easy work. And then as you become more experienced, you start building that up. And realistically, you don't see much difference in terms of the professionals in what they do. It's just that they're able to do more of it proportionally because they've built up to be able to do 20 or 30 hours of training. But actually it's that same sort of split. You'll find most of them, it's just lots of easy miles, lots of easy training with smaller amounts of high intensity, harder efforts in it.
No, that's and that is something what I see and feel also. If I think back when I was younger, I was kind of chasing that feeling, like that if I decided at some point to go for a run, I was from my background, I come from ice hockey, and it was always like that to be a good workout, it have to feel hard, or you have to feel it in your body. And I think that is something like that, what most people, when they start for running or whatever exercise, that it have to feel, that you have to feel tired after. And for most of the people, especially beginners, like you said, that it's then that they feel it too much, what is preventing them to do it more often. Is that something
absolutely.
What you find also what you have seen working with the people? Yeah,
for sure. And don't get me wrong, high intensity exercise and working hard is really good. We know it's good for you from a cardiovascular metabolic health point of view, but it also feels great. I would be lying if I said that I didn't enjoy those hard workouts. I mean, enjoy it at the time, maybe not. But there is a sense of satisfaction with it. And it's almost that if you're doing the easy training, it almost feels too easy and actually like you're not doing any work. So it's actually quite a hard thing to talk to people about and say, no, you're still going to be getting a lot of benefit from this and it's really good for you. It's a bit of a mindset shift, but once people understand that, it's fine. And realistically, it's a different kind of enjoyment. So you get the enjoyment of high intensity exercise and working hard, but actually you can have enjoyment with easy running. You go out for 60 minutes easy. And when you've built up to that, I can promise it feels absolutely wonderful to go out running, explore the countryside or something else around you, maybe that you don't normally go to, but you can run, you don't feel exhausted. And by the end of it, you get home and you feel amazing. And so it's just like a different kind of thing. And for me, the biggest thing with anything, whether it's you're looking for performance, whether you're looking at weight loss or just staying healthy, is doing it consistently over time. And what you generally find, especially with beginners, is if you don't have those foundational principles and actually build up to it, you're way more likely to get injured, or you follow too strict a diet and you're more likely to stop it because it's too hard. So it's actually just working out what's going to be better for consistently training, consistently staying active over time.
So in like basically that consistency beats that perfection, kind of what everybody is talking about, and this is it's exactly the same principle for running, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what are like typical mistakes? Like how to know like when that intensity is getting too much, or if you are like completely beginner, like what are kind of signs? What you like if you think like that, what is that between the training intensity and volume? Like what is the optimal for that, and what kind of like if you are a runner who want to start running more, and what kind of signs your body is telling that when it's getting too much? Because those things I feel often they are really hard to recognize by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, they are. So what I would say, if I'm working with someone, before we actually kind of start getting into things properly, and I would urge anyone to do this themselves when they're coming up with a running goal or triathlon or whatever it is they want to do, work out why they want to do it. And with that, work out what is going to make it fun. The reason I say this is we think about discipline, we think about motivation and staying consistent, and all of that is fine. But if things are too hard, either you are going too hard too frequently, you don't enjoy it, you're not prioritizing things like sleep, what happens is motivation, willpower, discipline become, I guess, more important, but also you're less likely to stick to it because you're relying on those things. So what I suggest, first of all, is finding fun with your exercise. So pick something which you, on the most part, can enjoy and actually look forward to doing, because then not only does that mean you're more likely to stay consistent over the long term because you're enjoying your exercise, which actually is going to then reduce the need for motivation, for discipline, for willpower, because actually it's not really a struggle. It's something that you can look forward to. And then you can use that fun and enjoyment as a metric for how hard your exercise is or how you're doing. Because if you have that goal of actually, when I started, it was really fun, and then you get a couple of weeks in or you get 2 months in and you find fun isn't there, then that's a really good way of saying, okay, what's changed? What's wrong? So is it then that I'm going too hard? Is it that I'm not eating enough, sleeping enough? Those sort of things, which actually might, or I would use it as a prompt to review your training, review your running, and see where you're at. So that's a really nice way, I think. If you enjoyed this snippet, then go and check out the full podcast episode. Link in the description and the comment section of this video. And I've also put another couple of videos up with endurance goodness for you.